I'm Toby Hodges, and this is the brand new Oceanis 37.1. 6 years ago, I remember sailing the Oceanis 51.1, and that being really the start of a whole new generation of Oceanises. We're here now off Barcelona and sailing this 37.1, which is the last in this new generation. It's the 8th boat over 6 years of redesigns for this. The biggest family cruising mark there is really in the world. So we've got about, force 3 to 4, up to 15 knots breeze here, a bit more maybe. And we've got a good chance to sail it here off Barcelona. So what that means really is it's a refined concept. There's no sort of innovations on this boat. They found what works and they've stuck with it. So that means, like the other smaller boats in the Oceanis range, it's Lombard design hull with a Nauta style and interior on it. And this has the optional first line package. Now what that means basically is a bit more sail area. So you can see there's no backstay on this, which makes it all the more easy really. But you get basically more sail area. So you get a square top main, same mast. And this one also has an overlapping Jenna as well, rather than the standard, which is a self-tacking jib, which together with it being on that flat winder winch up here, flat winder furler I should say, here you got a nice flat deck furler, which means brings the foot of the jib right down nice and low. So increased sail area on this one, and obviously an optional furling code sail on that bowsprit on this as well. So the point of the Oceanis really is to be easy to manage, easy to sail, with plenty of volume space to do so. You can see it's a nice large cockpit as well. And yeah, lines brought back to 2 winches by the helms, running rigging by companionway winches. It's all easy, intelligible stuff. And this one, you get twin rudders as well, loads of controls. It's quite reactive actually on the helm. It's really nice. It's very low load. Just doing a little bit of racing here with the Lan Impression 43. You can see a little bit from this angle just how much space, volume you get with these very full bows. So it's a good sized chain lock in the bow itself, and you'll see down below how much volume it is in the forward cabins. This is set up as a 2+1 or a 3+2, 1 or 3+2, so 2 or 3 cabins essentially. Standard boat, 2 cabin. Beneteau saying what they worked on in particular on this model really was to have an ease of circulation and a large cockpit and saloon area with the bathing platform as well. So with that lowered, really, you can see the beam across here, and a good amount of space basically for 6 to sit around this table, but also to get through the cockpit and down below. The code 0 sailing on the Oceanis 37.1. We've got about 12, 13 knots of breeze, and we're making a sort of steady 8 knots, more in the waves. Reported to have got 10 knots this morning, but that was in 15 plus. We had more like 15 to 18 knots this morning. As you can see, it's pretty easy sailing. Stacks of control from these twin ruddies. And also really having a furling code sail has been proven today to be quite a lot easier than a Jenica or asymmetric on a snuffer. The final leg in, the end of the day here in Barcelona. Pretty nice, fun, easy sailing on this Oceanis. You can see it's, you know, I'm under code 0. Yeah, the wind's dropped down a bit now, but I can easily leave that with these twin rudders. There's plenty of grip there, and it maintains good traction and control, really. So we've been sailing now under code 0. So there we've got about 12 knots of breeze now, and making 8 knots, 7.5 knot on wave. Goes down to 7 when the wind drops to about 10, 11, and 8.5 when it's more like 13, 14 in these conditions. A couple of things to note, really, is sailing it from these quarters, which is really nice to have this in terms of trimming. So at the moment I've got the main sheet on here, we've got the code 0 sheet on the other side. But when you do need to grind through, when you go through a jibe or whatever, it's a pretty tight space. When you don't have a powered winch, in terms of trying to get you back into it and grind around this winch, and you obviously end up with quite a lot of line tails aft here in the cockpit. So yeah, those are the things you've got to live with, I guess, with this. The plus side is obviously being able to manage it short-handed from this helm area. For the running rigging side, there's tail bags at the companionway winches, so that helps deal with those a little bit. You see this is the furling line for the code 0 running back here as well. So as we furl away the sails and head into port, what can I tell you about the interior? It's what you see is what you get, really. It's fairly no frills, tried and tested. This has an extra cabin, so this has the 3 cabin layout. As standard, it would be a 2 cabin, and you'd have a large workshop area. And you can also have, you see the moulding for it through that bulkhead, a larger shower compartment in here. As it is, it's just a heads and wet room, as is in the single cabin. Sorry, in the single heads. You can also choose to have a second heads forward. So if you look here in the forward cabin, you'll see on the headlining there, the groove where the heads compartment would go in here. But obviously you'd lose a bit of this space. Nice big double cabin for a 37 footer. Again, that's where you buy all that space with the fuller bow sections like that. And it certainly hasn't seemed to have, we haven't seemed to have paid any penalty for that in terms of performance. It seems to have been sailing pretty nicely, really. So if you can live without that second heads, you obviously get way more stowage in there as well. In the saloon, again, you get a good area for 4 to 6 people to sit around. So you have the choice of that or the good sized cockpit. And then to starboard, you have 4.5 style galley. So nice amount of space, particularly in port, but no real bracing so much when you're on heel at sea. However, good amount of space for this size of boat. Good refrigeration and stowage there, a bit more behind. Crash bar there to work at the stove. And just a small sink area further forward there. Nice amount of natural light in this saloon and in the forward cabin. Good stowage beneath all of these saloon seats. Our facing seats work at the chart table area there. Good to see. You do still get a bit of chart table area. But no hull windows in these aft cabins. Only spacious enough. Nice long berths, good tall headroom here. There's usually 6'3", 6'4" headroom in the first part of this cabin, and then a good size wardrobe with some shelving in it as well in the entranceway. Just a little bit flimsy, some of the furniture, I would say. So this is a 6.5 ton boat. And there's your conventional access into the engine room. So you've got a Yanmar 40 horsepower shaft drive as standard, 110 litre tank for that, and 250 litres of water, I think. I'll double check that, but in the specs we put at the end of the video will be correct. So just a quick tour for a quick trial here for European Yacht of the Year trials in Barcelona, Port Ginesta. I hope you liked it. Including the 21% of VAT here in France. And here in France, actually, well, it's a French boat. In Spain we are, aren't we? And this boat is approximately 320, including tax. Hope you enjoyed the short tour. See you next time.